Welcome back to my channel. It's the old head abroad, KJ Mack, and I'm coming to you from Bogota here in Colombia. I'm going to talk to you guys about transportation safety while you're here in Colombia visiting. I just want to base this on a video on DC-born Rob, a Racing Borders channel on YouTube. Rob does a great job of reporting the news that happens here in Colombia. And he did a video about an incident that happened a couple of weeks ago in Medellín. And this incident didn't involve a foreign tourist. It involved a Colombian. Now, a young man, maybe he appeared to be in his 20s. He was at a nightclub in Medellín, right there by Parque Yeris. You have another neighborhood called Provenza. So he was at a nightclub in Provenza. And when he left the nightclub, he got into a taxi that was on the taxi line outside the club. All right. He didn't use a ride-sharing app or anything like that. He just got into one of the taxis that was sitting outside the club. So now, when he was in this taxi, the taxi driver decided to stop at a store. And when he stopped at the store, he came out the store with a couple of beers. Now, they didn't say whether or not the beers were already open, whether it was in a glass or a bottle. But he offered the young man a beer, and the guy took the beer and he drank it. And apparently the taxi driver drugged the beer, And when the young man was knocked out after drinking the beer, the taxi driver beat him and robbed him, took his belongings. And then he dropped the man off down in El Centro in Medellín. Well, that's where he dumped him at. He dumped him in El Centro. It's not a good place to be. I mean, even in the daytime, I really don't like going down in El Centro in Medellín. Okay, now, fortunately for the young man, a security guard found him, and took him to the hospital, got him some care. And he was able to survive the incident. Now, I don't like the victim blame. But yeah, I mean, it's something that the mistake that he made, obviously, was he shouldn't have got into a random taxi that's sitting outside the club. And that's why I'm talking to you guys about it. Here in Colombia, that's something that we just don't do here. Whether you're a Colombian citizen or if you're an expat living here or a tourist, what you don't do in Colombia is you don't hail taxis. You don't get in taxis that are sitting on the taxi line outside of a club. You use some type of app to get a taxi or or a car to take you home. What we have here in Colombia, obviously, we have Uber here in the major cities. And then also you have an app called, you have the Cabify app. Cabify is available in the 5 largest cities in Colombia: Bogota, Medellín, Cali, Barranquilla, and Cartagena. And it's also available in Bucaramanga. Okay? So you have Uber and you have Cabify. And then you also have the DiDi app. All right? DiDi is available in a much larger number of cities across Colombia. All right? So between those 3 apps there, that's how you should get your rides when you're in Colombia. Always pre-order your transportation, pre-arrange it. Same thing when you come to the airport. When you're arriving in Colombia, you want to have pre-arranged transportation. Now, Uber, I'm not too sure about their availability at the airports. There's always some kind of issue with getting the Uber at the airports. So if you are flying into one of the big cities here in Colombia, if you're having a problem with Uber, use Cabify, or if you can arrange it some other kind of way beforehand, like through your Airbnb host or through the hotel. But you definitely don't want to fly into the airport and jump into one of those taxis that are sitting outside, take a random ride. And the same thing, when you go out, to the clubs or to the bar, restaurant, whatever it is, you always want to have use the apps. Now, the other advice I can give you, and doesn't have anything to do with transportation, be careful with your drinking habits, all right? I mean, even when you're back in the United States in your home city or whatever, you should be careful when you go out place and you're drinking, right? But when you're visiting a foreign country and, you're in an unfamiliar place, language barrier, I mean, if you're a drinker, you got to really keep it under control. It's not a good idea to get drunk when you don't know what's going on. Now, I'm not sure if this young man was drunk when he got in the taxi. I don't know. But, with him being a Colombian and making the mistakes that he made, he got in the taxi line, he accepted a beer from the driver and all of that, I can only assume that maybe there was some drinking involved. All right, so be careful, so make sure you got your mind right and, you're under control when you're out in the town here. All right, so, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate the support, and I'll be back to you soon with another video.